Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for taking the time to be out here this evening and for your generous contributions. Lorraine wants me to tell you a few facts. She even provided a list of them for me. I'd rather tell you a couple stories. But our goal is to convey a message for all of you, because we want you to come to understand just how awful and frankly criminal the life conditions are for so many of our children. I spent 24 years on the Wayne County Circuit Court Juvenile Division bench taking care of our abused and neglected children. A long time ago, I gave up saying that I had seen it all, because another case filled with more bewildering facts would be placed yet again on my docket. But here are a few of the facts that Lorraine has provided to me. In Michigan, there are 14,000 children in foster care, and way too many of those children are placed with foster parents who are struggling to get by. Here are some national statistics that will also break your heart. 20% of the children age out of foster care become homeless. What does aged out mean? It means that they are too old for foster care. But this does not take into consideration that these children still do not have a family to depend on. And I'd like each and every one of us to think back during those early years of our 20s and late teens, and just how often each and every one of us had to call on our parents for just a little more assistance. We have all heard in the news about the educational problems of our most at-risk children. Imagine the added difficulty of being a foster child and living in many different homes, consequently going to many different schools. This fact contributes to even more heart-wrenching statistics. Only half of our foster children are employed by the age of 24. Less than 3% of foster children receive a college degree. 71% of the girls who grew up in foster care will be pregnant by the age of 21. In the Midwest, less than 1% of adults experience jail, but 64% of young males who have spent time in foster care, and 1/3 of females who spend time in foster care will go to jail. 25% of foster children suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome. But these statistics only go so far. They are just numbers without faces. So now I want to tell you a story, because these 14,000 children who are in foster care in Michigan, each and every one of them has a name, and every one of them has a face. And each and every one of our foster children deserve to be loved and cared for, just like we love and care for our children. The story I want to tell you is about a little boy who was on my docket. He was removed from his drug-addicted mother's home. He lived in chaos and struggled his entire life. Of course, when he came into care, he had severe behavioral problems and was moved from foster home to foster home. And with each move, he was likely told to pack up his belongings, and here's the garbage bag. That's how he moved his things from place to place. Here's the garbage bag, put them here. Attempts to rehabilitate his parents were unsuccessful, and eventually their parental rights were terminated. He became a permanent court ward. Now it was my job to begin the task of finding him an adoptive home. Again, his behavior caused him to be placed in several pre-adoptive homes. I am required to view the status of every case every 91 days. And at one of those hearings, he appeared in my courtroom and sat between the parents who would eventually adopt him. He was only about 6 or 7 years old at the time when he sat there in a suit and tie, and he was proud as a peacock that day. And I asked the little fella if he liked his foster home. Actually, his prospective adoptive home. And he said to me, "Yes, I like it very much." I next asked him what he liked best about this home. But he had to think long and hard about that answer. And then he told me, "What I like best about my new foster home is because I haven't heard any gunshots yet." Well, that begins to sink in, because I haven't heard any gunshots yet. Let me repeat just one of those statistics. 25% of foster children, that's 1 in 4 of our children, develop post-traumatic stress syndrome. This percentage on total is twice the amount of war veterans. Imagine a world through the eyes of a child who judges the quality of his home by the absence of gunfire. Despite the odds being stacked against our foster children, I can also stand here and tell you success story after success story. It's been quite a while since I repeated the story to you about Jasmine, who was our first recipient of braces. For those of you who are hearing this story for the first time, Jasmine was a court ward most of her life. She was first removed from her biological parents. Their rights were terminated. She was later adopted and the case was closed. But unfortunately, she was later removed from this single-parent adopted home following being violated. When I was first brought into her life, Jasmine was 12 years old. By the age of 12, she was a permanent court ward twice, with such dysfunctional behavior that she lived in a residential facility. And she was not going to school, and she was non-responsive to therapy. Jasmine was a habitual thumbsucker, and I was shocked by the condition of her teeth. She was in desperate need of braces, and my friend, Dr. Maria Pinzon, provided Jasmine the first set of braces. Yes, Jasmine now has straight teeth and a pretty smile. But in my opinion, it was not the braces that changed her life. Dr. Pinzon made a promise to Jasmine when they first met. Dr. Pinzon told her that I would give you a set of braces when you quit sucking your thumb for 30 days. Jasmine and I left Dr. Pinzon's office. Jasmine had Dr. Pinzon's cell number in her pocket. Less than 2 months later, a shy, little, whispering Jasmine called Dr. Pinzon and reported to her that she hadn't sucked her thumb for 30 consecutive days. The next thing that happened is Dr. Pinzon kept her promise to Jasmine. And 2 weeks later, she received those braces. Again, Jasmine has straight teeth and a pretty smile. But I believe that it was that promise kept by a caring adult who could be trusted that restored the very damaged child's faith in humanity. That promise also told Jasmine that she was worth it. And knowing that she was worth it is what changed her life. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 summers ago, I sat in the audience when Jasmine walked the stage to receive her college degree from Saginaw Valley State University. When I first met her, she didn't speak. I couldn't get her in school, and I couldn't get her to see her therapist. I want you all to go to the For the Seventh Generation website when you get home, and I want you to look for that picture of that college girl in those red high-heel shoes. Click at her feet, and that's the picture I took of Jasmine. on her college graduation day. I invited Jasmine to attend tonight. She was unable to do so. But I'd like to read to you her email response to my invitation. This is Jasmine speaking to me. I hope all is well. I also hope the event goes well. If I know you, it will be amazing. Love to you, and thank you for changing my life. Here's my email. Every day, we who serve in the juvenile justice system encounter children who are struggling just to survive. Abuse, neglect, and poverty are far too often simply a way of life. And while the juvenile justice system does its best to address these issues, we must recognize that our system is not designed or equipped to meet the needs of our most vulnerable children. With limited resources, social service programs and the courts can only do so much. But it is our belief that private individuals and organizations really do care about these children, and they'd be more than happy to help if they only knew how. For the Seventh Generation is built on solid conservative principles, and it is a vehicle through which the private sector is given the opportunity to give back to children in need. The Detroit Metropolitan Bar Association Foundation created and supports the For the Seventh Generation because foster children, families, and teens deserve better. Our mission is to improve the odds for our children in foster care and help the families who care for them and love them. Ladies and gentlemen, all of our children deserve to thrive. Not just my daughter, not just your children, all children. We can help them thrive by giving foster children the kinds of things that way too often our own children have taken for granted. You too can be a moment in a child's life, just like Dr. Pinzon. What are you good at? I'm not asking you to help 14,000 children. I'm asking you to help one child or one family. And what would the impact be if each of us helped just one? For the Seventh Generation has a variety of programs throughout the year. We have a help closet where we provide clothing and household items, Play It Forward, music lessons for our children, our holiday bazaar where foster kids can give and receive presents, a back-to-school uniform drive, our book drive, prom palooza, and our bed project. And every one of you can think about what you are good at and create another chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, to be truly effective, our juvenile justice system must look beyond the mere survival of the children in our charge. It is time to recognize that the actions we take today will have an impact far beyond the current generation. How we deal with our most vulnerable children today will affect their progeny for years to come. Our children are our future. That means all of our children, and how we treat them will impact the world. Help me. We must all work for the seventh generation. It's my turn to introduce our auctioneer. But before I do so, I would like to take just one more moment of your time. It's often written that I am the visionary behind the For the Seventh Generation program. And I thank you for that honor and that compliment. But a vision is just a vision without the nuts and bolts of this program. I'd like to personally thank the Detroit Metropolitan Bar Association for their support of us, their belief in me, and their trust in me. But most importantly, I'd like to thank my friend and co-founder, Lorraine Weber, because she is the nuts and bolts of this program, and it would not be where it is today without Lorraine Weber. And where is Debbie Meisel? Get on down here, or at least make an appearance. My childhood friend, Debbie Meisel, is the founder of the Seed Foundation. For a long time, she asked us not to disclose who she was behind it, but I believe we have now permission to do so. I went to grade school and high school with Debbie Meisel, and in 8th grade, neither one of us were doing homework in lunch hour, and we played rummy every lunch hour and kept a running tally the entire 8th grade. Oh, it was 9th grade, excuse me. Oh, yes. But Debbie Meisel, thank you. Because Debbie Meisel is the person who provides us the capital to run this program. Debbie Meisel has been providing us beds when we need them. When we have an emergency request, like a child who wants acting lessons, a call to Debbie Meisel, and it's done. I thank you, Lorraine Weber, for putting my vision and the foundation behind it. And Debbie Meisel has financially supported me. She is my childhood friend. And to thank all of you for helping us do this important work.